Da 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 da. 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 Da 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 da.
Alright boys and girls, I hope you're having a lovely day, okay? Today lads, I want to talk about the different Terminator games, okay? Obviously we've got Terminator 0 coming out on Netflix. I really don't know what to expect with that one. I don't know if it's going to be good or bad, but I'm hoping it's going to be good. I'll be totally honest with you guys, I'm not like the hugest, most ridiculous Terminator fan of all time. I really love those first two movies, of course, especially Terminator 2. It's one of the greatest action movies ever. But as for the other Terminator movies, guys, I'll be honest, I don't really like any of them.
That is one big pile of shit.
Terminator 3 has some okay moments, but I'm not like a big fan of that movie. Terminator Salvation is so boring. And then Terminator Genesis is an absolute atrocity. I've not watched a Terminator movie since that. From now on, Terminator 1 and Terminator 2, and that's where it ended as far as I'm concerned. But today, guys, I'm going to be talking about the best and the worst Terminator games. There's some really good games here, guys, but there's also a lot of bad ones, okay? The Terminator games are a bit like the movies. And there's a couple of super gems in here, but then there's some absolute just bombs, okay? There's some stinkers here, so yeah, it's a bit hit and miss. Before we jump into it though, boys, I do want to first ask you guys, what are your favourite Terminator games? Let me know in the comments. And as well, guys, there's one game I do want to exclude from today, and that is going to be Terminator Resistance. Reason being, guys, is I've not had a chance to play this one yet. I've had a super busy couple of days, so I've not actually played it yet. I've heard this one is really good, so I want to dedicate an entire video on this game, so I'm going to be playing it over the next few days, and I'm going to do like an entire review on it. So yeah, that leaves us with 7 Terminator games that I'm going to be talking to you guys about, okay? And like I said, some of them are good and some of them are really bad. Okay then, boys and girls, let's start off with Terminator 3 Rise of the Machines for the PS2.
You are the ultimate weapon. It is time. Terminator 3 Rise of the Machines.
Alright guys, so this is a game that I actually have a fairly lengthy history with. I've got a lot of nostalgia for this game. My very first experience with this game was actually from my older brother. He got a PS2 for his birthday, and he got this game and Mission Impossible. I can't remember what it was. Mission Impossible something. I'll flash it up on the screen here. He got both of those games for his birthday with a PS2. Now normally I'd be super jealous of my older brother for getting a PS2, but I was actually super excited, and the reason being is that I got a PS1 because of it, because the PS2 could play PS1 games, so my mum made my older brother give me his old PS1, so I was really happy. So whilst my older brother was playing this on the PS2, I was playing like Matt Hoffman and WWE SmackDown on my PS1. Like, I was loving life. But I do remember my older brother playing this game, and I thought, you know what, that does look pretty fun, but I was still quite happy with the PS1. I wasn't like jealous or anything. Fast forward a good few years later, guys, I would have been about 12 years old, and I saw this game in a charity shop. I think it was British Heart Foundation. It was like £1 or something like that, and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna get that game, because at this point I had a PS2, of course. So I remember getting it home that day, and I played for a couple of levels, and I'm pretty sure I got like super stuck on it, but there was a saving grace, boys, okay, and that is a little thing called cheat codes. I used to have this cheat book. It was called like Big Book of Cheats or something like that. I can't remember exactly what it was called, but it was basically, it was a fairly lengthy book. It was about that big, and it just had tons of different cheats for PS2 games, and this game happened to be in there, guys, and there was an invincibility cheat, okay? So I ended up playing through the entire game with invincibility. Again, I was like super bad at games when I was a kid, so yeah, I was more than happy to sit there being invincible and playing through the game. Nowadays that sounds super boring. I would get bored of that super quickly, but yeah, I was quite happy as a kid playing this game and being invincible. So yeah, technically speaking, guys, I have beaten this game before with cheat codes, but I have beaten it technically. And then we fast forward a good decade later, guys, okay, and I saw this game in CEX, and it was £1, I'm pretty sure, and I was like, you know what, I need to relive this game. I want to see if this game was as good as I remember. So I've played it like the other day. I gotta be honest, guys, I was very disappointed, okay? This game is absolutely terrible.
Oh, no. No.
I will always have a bit of a soft spot for this game because, again, I've got all of that nostalgia wrapped up in this game, but the actual gameplay here, guys, is abysmal. The animations in this game are just laughably bad. Like, when you kill the robots in this game, like the T-800s, the way they fall down is just fucking hilarious. I don't know why they animated them like this, but I could not take this game seriously with these animations. The gameplay is pretty janky and clunky. Now, thankfully, there is a lock-on button, so that did help with that, but it was still super janky and clunky clunky to play. Visually, this game looks pretty bad. Okay, this game has not aged well in the visuals department. The gunplay here is just genuinely unsatisfying. Like, all the guns just feel like weak, and they just don't have that nice feeling when you're killing stuff. It just doesn't have that good feel to it. Plus, for some weird reason, every time you swap the weapons, it takes bloody ages to actually do the swap. I don't know why, it's just strange. But I think one of the most odd things about this game has got to be the boss battles, okay? This game, rather than you just shooting bosses like you would expect, it just randomly turns into like Tekken for some bizarre reason. Now, unlike Tekken, it's actually a good fighting game. This is just a bad, awful, like, fighting game. Like, it does not play well at all. And again, it's just strange. Like, why did they decide that that was a good idea? It feels so out of place. Yeah, there's not a lot that's very good about this game, guys, okay? There's a lot of bad things about this game, alright? There's really not a lot of positives at all. I can maybe think of one, and that's that there's a lot of weapon variety. Like, I will give it credit there. There's tons of different guns in this game. Other than that, though, boys, this game is pretty terrible. However, I was still willing to persevere and play through this entire game, okay? But just purely for nostalgia. But there was one mission in this game that was like the final straw, okay? It was the straw that broke the camel's back, and the reason I haven't beaten this game, okay? I was playing through a mission, and basically you had to like escort this dude to some place, okay? So you just had to kill robots and escort this dude. It was a pretty simple mission on paper, but for some reason the game just glitched out on me, and the dude that I was escorting just got frozen in place. Like, he just wouldn't move for some reason. So at first I was like, okay, not a big deal, I'll just restart the mission. Like, it's annoying, but it's not a deal breaker. But then it happened again, guys, okay? And I did try to record it on my phone. I don't know how good the footage is, probably not very good, but, you know, just wanted to show you guys exactly what the glitch was.
What are you doing?
Nothing. Me? Just hanging around.
Yeah, I was just kind of like, I don't need this, okay? This game isn't very good. I might be nostalgic for it, but it's not worth it, okay? There's nothing I really like about the game, so in the end, I just said, you know what, enough is enough. So yeah, all in all, boys, Terminator 3, Rise of the Machines, it's not good, okay? Nostalgia aside, this game is pretty terrible. Alright, boys and girls, next up, we'll talk about Terminator 2, the arcade game for the Game Boy.
T2, the arcade game on Genesis, Super NES, and leading game systems. Save the world or it's hasta la vista, baby.
Okay, guys, before we get into it, as you can see, got a nice little Game Boy cover, okay? This was custom made by moi, alright? So I'm quite happy with that. I think it came out pretty nicely. I don't buy Game Boy games like boxed because it's just so expensive, so I buy them unboxed and just make my own covers. Okay, guys, so Terminator 2, the arcade game for the Game Boy, that's a mouthful, so I'm just gonna call it T2 from now on. T2 is a strange game, okay? I actually have, I have anti-nostalgia with this game, okay? It's the opposite of Terminator 3 in a way. My memory of this game was very recent, okay? I picked this game up last year, and I've got like the opposite of nostalgia for it. I've got bad memories with this game. So when I first got my Game Boy Advance, guys, I was looking for any sort of Game Boy games I could get for it. I didn't care if it was Game Boy Color, regular Game Boy Advance. I wanted to get some Game Boy games and play them. And I was in Taunton, which is in Somerset, and there was like a shop, I can't remember what it was called now, but it was like a big shop and it had lots of collectibles, but it also had a ton of games as well, most of which were Game Boy games, so I was super happy about that, and I was looking through the different Game Boy games, and I saw this one, and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna get that. I love Terminator, let's give that a go. And in my head, I thought this was gonna be like a side-scrolling run-and-gun type game, like that's what I figured it would be, and I start playing the game, and it's literally like a first-person shooter, but on rails. It's like an on-rail shooter, which is fine, but on the Game Boy, I was like, what the fuck is this game? Like, what am I playing?
Oh, let's go! That's class!
So yeah, I was completely misled with this one, okay? I paid £10 for this, which is not cheap for a Game Boy game, and I'm pretty sure this game is a lot cheaper in CEX as well, and yeah, it was not what I expected, so I was super disappointed, and I was even more disappointed when I checked the receipt that I got from the shop. The shop overcharged me by £15 for some reason, and I still don't know why. Like, I don't know if they made a mistake, or if they were trying to mug me off or something, but they certainly mugged me off with this game. That whole experience was just shit to me, okay? I hated this game, and I hated the fact that I lost 15 quid for no reason. So yeah, that's why I've got anti-nostalgia for this one. In terms of the actual game here, guys, is it the worst thing I've ever played? No, it's okay, I guess. It's just weird though. Like, who thought it was a good idea to put an on-rail shooter on a freaking Game Boy? It just has no place on that console. I haven't spent a crazy amount of time with this one, guys. I've probably played about an hour of it, which sounds like a lot, honestly, but I just wanted to get my money's worth out of it, because technically speaking, it cost me 25 bloody quid. Alright, so I wanted to at least play play it a bit. I didn't finish it, unfortunately. And again, it's not like the worst thing I've ever played. It's just weird. I just don't know why they did this. It's just bizarre. If I'm gonna play a light gun on-rail shooter, I'm gonna play Time Crisis 2 on my PS2 with a gun con, alright? I'm not gonna play Terminator 2 on the Game Boy. It's just very weird. So yeah, not exactly like the worst game ever made, but just weird, okay? And I just feel like it's completely out of place. And again, I was just disappointed with the whole experience with this game. So I don't know, maybe I'll play it again and give it a second chance, because maybe I'm being harsh on it. Maybe it is actually quite good. If nothing else, it is impressive, okay? The fact that they were able to get an on-rail shooter working, like, it works properly fine on the Game Boy. So if nothing, it's impressive. It's just weird, though. I don't know why they did this. Okay, boys, next up, I'm going to talk about the Terminator for the Sega Mega Drive. Now, I want to start off by saying, guys, that I'm not doing this video in any particular order. I probably should have said that at the beginning of the video, but yeah, I'm just doing this randomly. So if you guys think that this is like the third worst Terminator game, that's not the case in my opinion, okay? I'm literally just picking up the games randomly and talking about them, okay? So I'm not doing it in any particular order. And yeah, I actually quite like the Terminator for the Mega Drive. Is it perfect? No, okay? There's definitely some faults with it, but I did enjoy my time with this one. This is the first Terminator game that we're talking about that I actually like. So in terms of what this game is, guys, it's pretty much a run and gun shooter. You play as Kyle Reese throughout the entire game, and you just go around shooting people. You shoot police for some reason, you shoot Terminators, you shoot a bit of everything. The game looks fantastic, okay? It's got that amazing like 90s 2D graphics, like it just looks stunning. I was playing this game on my CRT TV, and honestly, it is gorgeous. It's got a really funky, cool soundtrack, okay? This game just oozes style when it comes to that soundtrack.
These guys are like real musicians. Just listen to some of this and it'll blow that poppy trash music right out of your head. Wait. Oh man, that's like the best part.
And all in all, guys, it's a simple game, okay? It's not too complicated, but it's very enjoyable, okay? I really had fun with this game. But like I said, it's not a perfect game, okay? And the biggest problem with this game, guys, is its length. This game might be the shortest game I have ever played, okay? You can literally beat this game in 15 minutes. I didn't beat it in 15 minutes because I had to retry the game over and over again to finish it, but I was still able to beat it in like an hour and a half. And I can only imagine like paying full price for this game. Like if you were a big Terminator fan and you grew up with a Mega Drive and you wanted this game and you probably saved up loads of pocket money, you were cutting grass and shit like that, and you bought this game and then you finished it in a day, I mean, you would have been so gutted. And it's not like it's the most replayable game in the world either. Like, yeah, you could replay it, maybe up the difficulty or something like that. You could try and get a higher score, but really, there's not a lot of point replaying it other than the fact that, you know, you just want to get your money's worth. So I do also want to mention as well, this game does attempt to artificially extend its length. This game has some seriously cheesy bullshit gaming moments in it. Like, there's just some annoying enemies that can just kill you in seconds and you got to replay the whole game again. This game does try to sneak some bullshit in there to get you to play it longer. Even the final level is super bullshit because it's going to take you a couple of times to even know what the fuck you're supposed to do. It's not abundantly clear what the hell's even going on in that final level, because you start the level off and you have to shoot this Terminator and he keeps coming back, and then eventually he's crawling and he's always stalking you, and you're just pretty thinking, what the hell is going on? I was. I didn't know what the hell was going on. And basically you had to like lead this Terminator into this like thing that was going to crush him, but I was just so confused, okay? This game did not explain that's what you're supposed to do. You just kind of had to figure it out. But, you know, in the process of figuring it out, you're gonna have to keep replaying the game over and over again to get to that level. Anyway, guys, point is, I really did enjoy this game. It is a fun game. It's not perfect, okay? And the main problem with it is its length. If this game was twice as long, I would be absolutely in love with this game. But it doesn't mean I didn't like it, boys. And it was pretty cheap as well. This game cost me, I think it cost me £13 postage, so not terribly expensive. Okay then, boys. Next up, I'm gonna talk about Terminator Dawn of Fate for the PS2. Okay guys, so I'm going to be totally honest, I have not played this one that much. I've only been able to play about an hour of this game. I just didn't have enough time to properly play it. Obviously, I've been working on that Alien video, and that's been sapping up a lot of my time, and also like a cluster of other things as well. So I've not been able to invest a crazy amount of time into this one. I've only, again, played it for about an hour. But from what I did play of it, guys, I mean, it's not amazing, but there's definitely things that are pretty cool about it. First of all, one of the cool things about this game is not even the game itself, it's actually the artwork, okay? Look at that front cover. Alright, that front cover is fire. Not to mention the artwork on the manual and the disc are really cool. Like, that's one of the coolest looking manuals ever, and then the disc is also super cool. It's got like a bit of a shine to it, and it looks awesome to me, so I really like that artwork. But yeah, from what I've played of this game so far, guys, it's super bizarre, okay? This game borrows a lot of elements from Resident Evil and then turns it into a Terminator game.
He copied my whole fucking flow! Word for word, bar for bar!
Don't get me wrong, this game doesn't have like survival horror elements in it, okay? This game isn't scary by any means, it doesn't have any horror at all, but it does borrow some elements from Resident Evil, okay? First of all, the inventory is quite similar to Resident Evil, so you'll have to collect different healing items, for example. You don't have green herbs in this game, but you have like med packs. But the main thing this game decides to borrow for some reason is the fixed camera angles, and I don't really know why they did this. In the original Resident Evil games, like, part of the reason they did the fixed camera angles is it's so that they could make the environments look better. It's a lot easier to make environments that stay still as opposed to moving, so when they're moving, it's a lot more power needed, there's a lot more money, time, and effort. In this game, though, the camera does move around, and the environments don't look all that great either, so I don't really know why this was a choice. Not to mention the fact that this game doesn't have tank controls for some strange reason. Like, I feel like this game needed tank controls. When I first used tank controls, I really was not a fan of them. I remember, like, my very first time playing Silent Hill 2, I really couldn't, like, get on with tank controls, but after playing that game for a while, I really started to get used to it. And then I've played through Dino Crisis and Fear Effect, the original Resident Evil 2 and 3, so now I really like tank controls, okay, and I feel like this game really needed them. In terms of the moment-to-moment gameplay here, guys, like, again, I haven't played a lot of it, but from what I've played, you just go around, you shoot Terminators and shit, you know, you shoot robots. It's pretty fun. I won't say it's the most amazing game I've ever played, but, you know, I've played worse. It's incredibly simple, but yeah, it's one of those games that I can kind of just shut my brain off and enjoy, and from what I've played of it so far, it's not super frustrating, it's pretty easy to understand, and yeah, it's just okay. So I think I'm going to stick with this game. I'm going to play it some more, but yeah, unfortunately, I just didn't have time to play it more, so there's not a lot I can really tell you about it other than what I've played of it so far, but all in all, it's okay. Alright, boys, next up, let's talk about Robocop versus Terminator for the Mega Drive.
Guide Robocop through his most important mission and save mankind in Robocop versus the Terminator from Virgin Games.
Now, before we dive into my opinions on this game, guys, I do want to say that my copy of this game is absolutely terrible. It's just, like, basically, it's, like, ripped all along the top here, and just, it looks really bad. Like, the whole cover is just ripped off along the front.
It's pretty difficult to put into words how disgusted I am, how depressed I am.
I ordered this game from CEX. I ordered a no manual copy because I don't collect manual games for Mega Drive because it's just a lot more expensive. But yeah, I was pretty disappointed with the condition of this one. I'm not, like, the most fussy collector in the world, but that's really bad. But if I ever do see a better copy of this game, I might pick it up. But it's not the cheapest game in the world, okay? This cost me £35 with no manual, so yeah, it should have been in better condition, I think. But anyway, boys, let's dive into the actual game, okay? Now, I just want to start off by saying, I'm literally just going to straight up say it, this is the best Terminator game ever. And it's not even really a Terminator game, it's more of a Robocop game, if we're being honest. Like, you play as the Robocop in this game, you're fighting Terminator. But if this counts as a Terminator game, it's the best Terminator game ever, okay? This game is absolutely 10 out of 10. I fucking love this game. This is one of my favorite Mega Drive games. I just adored it, okay? It's basically a run and gun shooter where you play as Robocop and you just lay waste to everybody. In the opening few levels, you're taking out different criminals, and the game is so gory, okay? You're shooting people and they're just exploding into big red pulps of flesh. It's so satisfying. As the game goes on, you don't really fight a lot of humans, you fight a lot of machines. And it's just such a ridiculously fun and satisfying game, okay? The different guns you have in this game are fantastic. They're all fun to use. I really love the gun variety in this one. Visually, this game looks stunning. Like, pretty much every Mega Drive game looks good, but this game is no exception. The background environments look fantastic. The characters look fantastic. Just everything about this game looks really cool, and it just oozes that 90s coolness. And the soundtrack is just mwah, okay? It is chef kiss. I love the soundtrack here. And all in all, guys, I just had such a great time with this one, okay? I had had an absolute blast and I really loved it, but there was a couple of things that weren't so amazing about it. So my first issue with this game, guys, is the length of the game. It's really long for a Mega Drive game, and that's not the critique here. I love the fact that this game is really long. That's a good thing. The problem with it is that you can't save it. Like, there's no passwords or anything like that. You have to play this game in one go, and it's around about a 2-hour game. Again, I'm happy that this game is on the longer side, but I just wish there was a password system of some sort, because, like, let's say you're playing the game for an hour and then you've got to go somewhere, you would have to basically leave your Mega Drive on and then leave your house, you know? If this game just had a password system, that would have been a lot better in my opinion. So yeah, that's my first critique. My second problem with this game, guys, is Robocop's pistol. In the first few levels, the pistol is absolutely awesome. You're just mowing down enemies. It is fantastic. But as the game grows on and on, the Robocop pistol is fucking awful. It does virtually 0 damage on any of the later bosses in the game, okay? So the Robocop pistol sucks, and you're kind of forced to use it if you end up dying, because you end up losing the gun that you're holding once you die, so you're kind of forced to use the Robocop pistol, and it's just really bad against the bosses. And my final critique of this game, guys, is the final boss itself, okay? The final boss on this game is borderline impossible. This game is not even a hard game before the final boss. The whole game is honestly very playable, but that final boss is ridiculous, okay? One of the hardest final bosses I've ever played. I've literally only come up with one decent strategy to fight this final boss, guys, and that's cheat codes, alright? Yeah, I know, I'm a filthy human being using cheats on a game, but no, that's the only way to beat this final boss. I'm convinced of it. So yes, guys, I did use cheats to finish this game, okay? I used the, like, unlock all weapons cheat, so pretty much you can just pick any weapons you want, and that's the only way you can beat this boss. I'm seriously convinced of it. But yeah, don't let my few nitpicks on this game deter you from what an amazing game this is, okay? I might have a couple of issues with it, but trust me, this game is 10 out of 10, okay? I absolutely love it. It's so much fun. It's one of the most fun Mega Drive games I've ever played. It's just awesome. Please play this game any way you can. Okay then, boys, next up we're going to talk about Terminator Salvation for the PS3. Alright guys, so we're going from the best Terminator game to possibly the worst Terminator game, okay? I mean, Terminator 3 Rise of the Machines is pretty bad, and this game is neck and neck with it, okay? This game absolutely sucks. Unlike Terminator 3 Rise of the Machines, I've got no nostalgia with this one, okay? Nostalgia is not gonna save this game, okay? This game was just a slog to play through. I was so bored playing this game. So in terms of what this game is, guys, it's kind of like a cover shooter, you know, not too dissimilar to your Gears of Wars and that sort of thing, and you're just shooting robots throughout the whole game, and you know, on paper it doesn't sound that bad, but the problem is it's just so uninspired and generic, okay? This game isn't broken in any way, it's not glitchy, it functions completely fine, but it's just so dull. The whole game you're just going from cover to cover, shooting down the Terminators, and you just do that over and over and over again against the same enemies, okay? The enemy variety in this game is so bad. Like, you're literally fighting maybe 3, at most 4 different enemy types the entire game. The game is really short as well, okay, which I suppose is actually a good thing in this instance, okay? You can beat this game in a couple of hours, you know, 3 hours tops. And the crazy thing about the length for this one, guys, is that it probably should be beaten even quicker than that, okay? Because basically in this game you can't sprint, okay? The whole game you are just light jogging the whole game. You can't sprint at all, and there's moments where you're just light jogging for like minutes on end. You're like, why is there not a fucking sprint button in this game? Oh wait, I know why. It's because they wanted to artificially extend the length of the game. If you could sprint in this game, it would be 2 hours, okay, instead of 3. 2 hours! On top of that as well, this game has a terrible checkpoint system, okay? One of the worst checkpoint systems ever. I can kind of forgive it in some of these older games because, you know, they're older. This is a PS3 game, okay? They should have learned by now how to do checkpoints properly. You can play a good 20 odd minutes in this game and not get a single checkpoint. But then there are moments where you play like 1 minute and you get a checkpoint. Like, they just don't make any fucking sense. Now, of all the things I don't like about this game, guys, and there's a lot of things I don't like about this game, I think the worst thing about this game has got to be the turret sections. This game's idea of variety is just sprinkling in these different turret sections throughout the game, and they're so mundane and dull and boring. Like, they absolutely suck. And there's one part in this game as well where for some reason there's like 3 back-to-back turret sections in a row. Like, what? Like, whose idea was that? And they're just so ridiculously boring, guys. None of them are interesting. None of the turret sections are fun. They are just a chore. The whole game is a chore to play through. It was really bad, okay? This game sucks. Like I said before, there's nothing absolutely broken about this game. It's a functional game at least, but yeah, it's just so boring and just so not worth playing. So don't waste your time with this one, guys. It's not very good. Alright then, boys, let's end this video with an absolute banger, okay? Let's end this video with Terminator the Redemption for the PS2.
Terminator 3, The Redemption.
Okay guys, so similar to Terminator 3 Rise of the Machines, I do have some memories with this game, okay? I used to have this game when I was a kid. I bought this game from Game, you know, the actual shop Game. I brought it home. I think I paid like $9.99 for it, and I was so excited, boys, okay? I mean, the front cover is just so badass, okay? You got Arnie holding the T-800 and the minigun. Even the back cover looks freaking cool. Like, there's some just really cool screenshots there. You've got like the motorbike and stuff. I don't know, man. This game I was sold on the second I laid eyes on it.
I want that and I desire that. I need that. I'm dreaming about that.
I remember sitting in the car, I was flicking through that manual, I was getting all pumped and excited to play it, and then I got stuck in the first 2 minutes of the game. Like, seriously, I don't think I got past the first level of this game. I was really bad at games when I was a kid. But yeah, this was not, it was not what I expected. So yeah, coming back to this game in 2024, I felt like I had unfinished business with this one, okay? I needed to play this one and, you know, get past the first level at least. And thankfully, guys, I can say I did get past the first level. I know, I'm an absolute legend at gaming. But yeah, no, in all seriousness, guys, I really enjoyed coming back to this game, okay? I loved this game, okay? It's not perfect, it's not like a flawless game. I mean, none of these games I've talked about today are flawless, but my god, I did have fun with this one. So in terms of what the game is, guys, it's predominantly a vehicular sort of shooter. It's not too dissimilar to like a Twisted Metal, you know, where you're in cars and you've got like, you know, guns on the cars and stuff, and you're driving around and shooting stuff. But then at the same time, there's also sections in the game where it's like a third-person shooter and you're playing as Arnold throughout the entire game. And the whole game is just really fun, guys, okay? There's loads of different levels. All the different levels have tons of variety. They never feel similar in any way. The game throws tons of different environments at you, and you're just always doing something fresh and new, which I really respected about this game. All the different vehicles in this game feel fun to drive, okay? They're very smooth. The handling is nice. All the guns on the cars feel good as well. They've just got that nice punchy, crispy feel to them. Graphically, this game was super impressive. I was really impressed with the visuals of this game. I was playing it on my CRT TV and it looks stunning on there. And also, this game had a really cool and weird feature, but basically this game had a dedicated voice line button where if you press L2, Arnold will just start spitting, you know, one-liners. I just thought that was cool. Alright, it was weird, but it was a bit cheesy, but I just thought that was awesome. What's also really cool about this game, guys, is the story differs from the movie. This game is partly and loosely based on the movie, and it has events from the movie in the game, but then it also sort of about halfway through the game decides to do its own thing, and it has a completely different story after that. So I thought that was pretty damn cool. So yeah, all in all, guys, I had an absolute blast with this game, okay? I really enjoyed it, but like I said, it wasn't perfect, okay? I definitely had a couple of issues with it. My first critique of this game, guys, is how this game does like the cutscenes in the game. It was just a bit jarring and weird. Basically, there's certain moments in this game where the game will just show you cutscenes from the actual movie. It will just literally show you a clip from the movie after finishing a level, but then sort of midway through the clip, the game will turn into the in-game cutscene, and it just didn't quite flow right. It just had a weird jarring effect to it. It just looked uncanny. I just feel like they should have made it all in-game cutscenes, which I suppose would have cost more money and took more time, but yeah, I just feel like that would have worked better in my opinion. But yeah, my biggest obstacle with this game, guys, has to be the difficulty, okay? This game is no easy cookie, let me just say. Alright, this game was tough as nails. There's no such thing as an easy level in this game, okay? There's no wonder I got stuck on that first level when I was a kid, okay? Because even the first level took me a good few tries. This game isn't even particularly long if you can beat it all in one go. Like, if you could probably beat it in a couple of hours, but there's no freaking way anybody's beating this game in 2 hours, alright? It's gonna take you quadruple that, hell, maybe even longer, because you've just got to keep replaying those levels over and over and over again. And there's some levels that took me literally like an hour. Like, it was ridiculous.
I just can't do it. I can't take like this shit no more.
At first, I didn't really mind, you know, because I don't mind a good challenge as long as I'm enjoying the game. So, like, there were certain levels where I had to keep replaying them over and over and over again. I didn't really mind, but it did start to wear thin in the end. And I was like, I just wanted to finish the game. And in the end, I didn't even do it, okay? I got right to the end. I got to, like, the second to last level. I just had to throw in the towel, guys. And this game was just too tough for me. I really did give it a good go because I wanted to finish it because I really enjoyed it. But it was so fucking hard, guys. So, yeah, if you're looking for a challenge, check this game out, okay? Because it is not easy by any means. But still, I really enjoyed it. Even with that difficulty, even though this game could be frustrating at times, I still loved it, okay? And I would thoroughly recommend it if you can find it. Alright, and boys and girls, that is all the Terminator games that I have talked about today. There's, I think, 7 games there in total. You know, some of them are good, some of them are bad. You know, there was a bit of everything. Like I said before, I will be doing a dedicated video to Terminator Resistance, okay? So look forward to that. I really hope this game is good. I've not played it yet, so I'm really hoping I like this one. Other than that, though, boys, if you're new here, subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one, alright? Peace.